Okay, to update you with regard to your project, I want to share with you what I've found so far. Before I go much further along, there are some decisions, preliminary decisions you have to make, but I wanted to share this with you before I proceeded further than this. This is your place up here with the arrow, and all of this down here is all Park District land here. I'm presuming that those views are going to be staying that way for the foreseeable future. I've walked this whole path 3 or 4 times with my dogs, and it is a busy area, so I don't see them throwing this park away, eliminating it from their district. All of your nice views are going to be down through here because the land falls down this way, but it's still very nice looking straight out, and the rise in the land here keeps you from seeing this here and hearing that really. So from an estate standpoint, from a development standpoint, from an investment standpoint, that should probably be kept in mind, or should be borne in mind in any event. Okay, so I put together the existing structure, the existing model of the house. One thing I noticed while I was out there is I don't know what they've done, the original foundation for this, but in any event, it's not going to be able to be relied upon for any kind of structure on top of it. So if we're going to do anything different than what is existing right here, this is going to require a little bit of foundation work. Whether that shifts here and there, we'll explore as we go forward, but I did want to mention that that foundation is not going to work for anything on top of it. Now, I started this film yesterday, and got so far along because I was talking about adding onto these walls. And it's doable if they're wood framed walls, 2x4 walls. You can build another beam, 16-inch beam or wall section on top, and then strap it over with these. Not like that, I would just wrap straps up, over, and down. But I thought I'd better go out there and double check again because some of my measurements weren't adding up. And as I somewhat suspected, these interior walls, these walls that bound the building, the bearing walls, those are not wood framed walls inside. And what the construction is, as near as I can figure from my investigations, I had to drill a small hole out in this room to see how deep that was, and another couple holes here and there. But this is brick, and then there's a 4-inch block layer, presumably 4-inch block layer, and then somewhere between an inch and a half wood furring strips applied to the inside, and then that plaster. It will not be possible for any of those walls that are constructed like that, and I'll run forward here real quick. All of these walls are like that. These ones out here are a little different. This isn't shown the right way, but none of these walls are going to be able to be stacked on top. So that we can't do that. But in terms of trusses, for example, on that east end, we can put any new roof structure on those existing walls, and whatever kind of plate they've got up here for the trusses. Secondarily and offhand, those trusses appear to be clear span trusses, so that none of these walls that run parallel to the front of the house, back of the house, are actually load bearing in terms of the roof. That might need to be double checked, but I went up in the attic and crawled over where they are clear spanned across here in that one section of your living room, and there are no differences in the construction of these trusses. So probably an engineer will have to double check that, whether or not that's true, if it even becomes an issue. The upshot of it is, though, you can put any new roof structure on the existing walls, but if we want to do something else, it's going to take some additional work, and I'll get to that in a moment. And I will explain that right now. Actually, these are the plans I've put together of your existing conditions out there. They're all within about an inch. There's still a little bit of mystery on this floor, on what's happening back here, this blind space, this wasted space. And I don't know who put these designs together, but they're pretty terrible. But if we want to extend these walls, say over here for example, we ran into this before around 2000 or so, and someone had a garage, and we added a big second story addition for a master suite. But what we had to do in that instance was dig footings at these corners of their garage, and here we're kind of compromised because of this is hollow here, but it probably could be overcome. But we put footings and steel columns and steel beams across this way, and then built our new room on top of that. Whether, ours would probably be here and here and here and here in that instance. The alternative to that sort of construction is, and I think we could put a beam and columns here, across here, and rebuild this wall, take this wall down and rebuild it from the foundation up for that second floor. So that's the minimum I think we could do to accomplish that second floor. Leave this wall in place and leave this wall in place. None of that will matter. Rebuild this wall to be a framed wall, 2x6s, and put a beam from a new column here over to here, and then run our joists this way on that second floor. That is how, if we're going to add a second story to any portion of this, if we were to add a second story to this portion, then we would be into rebuilding this wall here. We'd be into some serious brick demolition or rebuilding these front and rear walls, because there's no other way to get around that fact. So, but I put these together before I went down there and confirmed that these weren't 3.5-inch walls, these little floor plans. And so I'm just going to continue to explain what I was explaining in those. Down here, by the way, I can only call these, I don't know if they sold this as bedrooms, but these are not bedrooms. I can only call them spare rooms. Whether in the course of this construction you want to add egress windows where they dig down and build a well here that's where these qualify to be bedrooms, because the rest of the egress path is good, but they need one from the, if you want to have those as actual bedrooms that you can call bedrooms, since they've got the full bath with apparently a lift station or whatever it's taking to lift up to that outlet. When we met, we talked about eliminating these stairs from this location in any event, and we'll have to consider how that impacts us down here, whether we are going to finish this out like this. We still have this column that will have to be wrapped or something here, and I think this wall is just randomly called out or arbitrarily called out. It could technically go all the way back to here, presumably, and have one giant room here. But that will have to be decided, as will, is this going to be the only stairs down then to the basement and way over to these rooms, or are we going to put it here as Thip had indicated? So going up to the first floor then, if we assume that we are able to add and elect to add rooms over here, bedrooms over here, 3 bedrooms and a bath above the garage and at points south, then the question becomes, do we just leave all of this as it is? And so then we end up with 5 bedrooms. This is the master bedroom here, and then 3 additional bedrooms upstairs plus this one. And then the question becomes, do we leave this all as it is? And is this, which is technically the master bedroom still then at that point, is that adequate for your master bedroom needs? If it is, then it's just a case of, do we change the ceiling in that area? Or do we begin to entertain taking down that wall, at least taking down that wall between those 2 rooms and making that the master bedroom? And whether we make changes down here, I was on my trip out there yesterday. This is pretty nice appointments down here. It's a terrible design, I think, personally, but the appointments are nice. And so how much of that do we want to just leave in place? I don't know, for example, whether a tub in the master bath is one of your requirements. I do know that I dislike that all of these windows have been closed off. This one I can't understand unless I've got something completely missing the point. I don't understand why this one's shut off. But if you decide that maybe 3 bedrooms up there and 1 down here, and you end up with a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, take down that wall between those two and make that a master bedroom. And this master closet and master bath, whether that stays like it is, with just a wall across here, some minor modification, because the appointments are nice, particularly the shower is nice. The sink can move anywhere. I don't know if a tub in your master bathroom is a requirement. If it's not, that's the easiest thing to go to get you some closet space in the event you do renovations at this level. Now, the next thing is taking out these stairs, taking out this wall between, creating a large room in here, and with presumably the kitchen down here and the dining room here. Whether these renovations happen, whether any renovations happen here, whether we change that to a half bath instead of a full bath, and but after yesterday's trip out there, I'm in favor of preserving at least this shower, because the rest is easy enough to move around. But the shower is very nicely done, and unless you don't like that, I would preserve it. But going forward, getting this big room here, returning to the master bedroom in terms of the ceiling, this can be anything you like, because if you are going to tear off all of that roof framing, those existing trusses, if you take those off, you can have new ones where the ceiling, I'm showing it on this permutation, I'm showing it without raising these walls, and we can probably have the truss people help us there as well with its heel. But without raising those walls, the ceiling vaults up to about 11 feet and then back down to this wall. And that's with just keeping the top cord 9/12. So the bottom at 7/12. And in this arrangement, these are dormers on top of the roof with glass in them that comes in through these shafts, window wells, to this bedroom. And that's north, so this is nice even light all day long. Alternatively, or additionally, there are skylights here on that north. Now, because I had mentioned renovations there, I wanted to make sure that there was at least some viable renovations, and I had done the upstairs preliminary work already in a similar fashion, but I wanted to make sure that there were viable alternatives if you were going to do any renovations to gain closeting, and if we were going to take down that wall between bedroom 1 and bedroom 2. And so these are just some rough permutations of things that I see possible. Unless there's an objection to this, I don't know why this window is not open, so I'm showing it open regardless of anything else that happens in here. And secondarily, that I recommend that this is something different, that this closet come out this way, so that there is not this fight here. This big number down here, the plan number, that helps you keep track of things. This was my first attempt at getting additional closeting afforded for the master bedroom. And I'm showing this as a doorway that would obviously be a hinged door. But keep in mind the different things that you'll have to decide. The location of this door can shift around here and there, and this pretty much stays here because I'm from the precept of preserving this shower. I'm leaving this door here. This is a pathway all the way through. This gives you 5'6" on each side, and plenty of room between as far as that goes. I mean, yes, the clothes come out to here, but this pathway is going to be about 32 inches through here. This is the sink merely relocated. This window stays closed off. It has the least of the affordable views. This window should be opened, as should that one. This door is flexible in terms of how it interfaces with that space. You see the different things that change. This puts the closet out here. This door can still be here because this door is only opened occasionally. So this door can go anywhere between here and here in some of these plans. This puts a linen closet inside here, inside the master bath. This is still that same 5'6" length on each side. We switch to a pocket door here. Now we turn that sink around to gain a little bit more space in that closet. And by turning that around, we're able to add 9 inches to each of these lengths. So another 1.5 foot of hang space in the closet. And remember, these are double decked or whatever through here, organized. The toilet remains, the linen closet remains, and this, I'm taking away those vaulted, or that stuff that was happening here, in favor of a very high vault and just a bank of skylights, or some number of skylights, maybe centered on these, maybe 2 large skylights centered on these. And perhaps there's a false dormer on top of this, or maybe there's another real dormer with an additional light coming through, depending on how we develop that outside. This is really just to clean up and moves from an actual closet in the master bath to in favor of a 15-inch deep linen toiletry cabinet here, and preserving this vacuum or broom closet out here. And then these final ones is just putting, and remember, I've already, this toilet can be moved here. I've looked at that, and down below it goes into that closet, and it can get over there to wherever it needs to go. And here is similarly, this one's easier because the soffit is already there. But this increases the number E when we get to E and move that sink across the room. And remember, we will be getting some sort of skylighting or some sort of natural light into this interior portion of this, I would think. Your master bedroom door can go anywhere along here. That increases these from 6 foot 3 inches a piece to 8 foot 3 inches a piece. So that adds a substantial amount to this closet, doing this situation here. And here, because we have so much space here, there's not much else can be done about it. And I will say, for the record, it is easily possible to just close off half of this window. You would have to buy a new window similar to that one and just put it through here. And this could be a little bench here with some light coming in there, which would be nice. Because that's so deep, I have the toilet pulled forward a couple feet, 18 inches or so, and then above that, this deep cabinet, 21 inch deep, so that there's room for casings if we want them on this window. Additionally, you can have a pocket door across that, so that can be just a private, and there's loads of light. That's south light, so that's going to be a lot of light, but there may be something else happening. Jumping back here to take another quick look, thinking of all that south light that's going to be coming into this room, it's easily possible to have some sort of art glass or some sort of even air opening up high, or however a person is comfortable with, to get light into this closet. And now we will return. Next, then, in terms of doors, we move the this is just showing you, I mean, really, you could have all 3 of these doors in place. If you wanted to, all 3 of these doors could be in place, so any number of scenarios can happen in terms of doors through here. And speaking of doors, this is the next is, maybe this is much better space for a dresser than a door, and you do it this way, and this becomes almost like a nice little dressing room here with the sinks right outside. That actually, and that does not decrease your shelf space, actually, or your hang space. It actually increases the net by about 9 inches. Again, door world, and it's not out of the realm. A person could have a door down here, and all that would work. That all is hinged on, do you need a bathtub? If you do, it can be done, but it's probably going to be right in this corner, presumably. But that would have to be worked out. If a tub is a requirement, you should let me know. Alternatively to all those remonstrations and permutations, you leave that all as it is, untouched, and the master bedroom is added at the second floor. This is not something I necessarily recommend, but depending on what kind of a first floor, what kind of, if a person wanted office space or this sort of thing down here, then this division all becomes different and has to be considered. And in which case the master bedroom presumably is up here and presumably on that east end. If it is not though, and this is just new roof trusses through here, and let's pretend this is roof trusses through here for now with nothing happening up there, and then the division is here, and we know that we have space southward as well, and we'll get to that. Alternatively to that, or the next step then, is that there's some of this is finished over here as a balcony or commons, and whether that's as a bridge or a platform, that would have to be determined, and some of that's going to depend upon how our exterior design shapes up. Remember though, if we're going to add this second floor here, then that requires this wall to be rebuilt, as well as this one and the beam over here. Coming back down to that addition on the first floor, ignoring anything over here and focusing on this here, on this west end, we have the issue of our stairs getting up to that second floor. And if the master bedroom suite is over here, obviously some sort of bridge happens. If that master bedroom suite moves upstairs, some sort of bridge happens between these two, or we have to add yet another stairwell. We know we want the laundry, and there was some consideration briefly over there, but presumably the mudroom, the laundry, and a pantry or food storage, etc., is going to go over here to the west behind the garage. And I will say, in case I forget, that it's easy enough to envision this wall here, portion of this wall, depending on what the setback requirements are, a portion of this wall, since we have reframing work to do and roof tear off to do, it's not out of the realm that this wall can come forward some distance, 2 feet, 3 feet, if we need additional space in this garage to accomplish the things we want to down here. But next is a discussion of the stairs to the second floor, the stairs to the basement, and I'll try not to be too long-winded about it. One way to go up there to that second floor is to have the stairs here north of that existing stairwell to the basement. And I think it's probably going to take, in order to accomplish it, particularly at the second floor level, it's going to take this at the first floor level. Additionally, Thip had mentioned the stairs here. Now I wasn't sure whether I'm not sure whether he meant new stairs to the basement here, which we'll have to consider because there's that water situation with the closet at the base of those stairs. But if those stairs go down this way, then stairs to the second floor could come up this way. There will be additional consideration with regard to the ceilings and roof, etc. But the stairs can come up this way as an alternative to this way. And we do have to think about the stairs going down as well, and whether there are this set or just this set, or both of those sets. My approach is to try to get you into that quick kitchen from the garage, and I recognize that the idea going in is that this goes away. It has stairs, but it goes away. So my approach is to try to get you into that kitchen as quickly as possible. And the way I've done it here is remember this, you can't see it, but this is the stairs down to the basement right here. So in this permutation, you step down once into this, so that this whole level here is one down, 7 inches down from this area here. And then you step down again to a landing here, and then you go down the rest of the stairs to the basement, or you go down one more step. That's your 3 steps to the garage. And the door into the garage end could be out this way and swinging in back against this. the door to the garage could be a number of locations there. But the idea is to get you from that garage to the kitchen without having to go too far west. And I think it's going to take additional kitchen space. I'm showing here, this is probably about 8 feet, this distance here. And one of the reasons I say that, it could take even more than that, because there are a number of considerations. I don't want to get it too far from the living space, but we have to think about these stairs both to the second floor and to the basement, and getting into this mudroom pantry area. But the further we push this out to accommodate those, the further we're getting from the living area. So it could be that once things shape up, this becomes a little dinette down here. And I think I covered this a little bit later in the film, but I'll just say it now. This could become a little dinette area, and maybe the kitchen situates up better here. I don't know, because we're going to be wanting to get outside from this, and we're going to be wanting to see outside from this. This is how those stairs then situate on the second floor for now, with these bedrooms pushed down. And I did this so you could see these bedrooms are not huge bedrooms. These are pretty lengthy at 15.6. But the limit at this point is held to about 11 feet. Now, if we rebuild entirely the west wall of that garage here, and then we can build that out as far as a person would need to, maybe another 3 feet. For every foot you go further out there, you're going to increase these by 6 inches. I would think if you're going to go to the expense of adding that new wall out there, then these would end up becoming approximately 13 feet wide, that you would go at least 4 feet out that way at that story. But that is a lot of space on the first floor that could be used for storage or whatever, but it is an expense. But these rooms are pretty narrow, and there's ways to experiment and get one of those larger, but it's going to be at the expense of the other. So in spite of how far down we go this way, these bedrooms are not going to be huge. This one's not bad, and neither of these are bad in terms of their length. And this is after closets, because I've got the closets here. So this is 11 from here and 15.5 from the door here, with this being closet, closet, closet. If we move those stairs and preserve some of our kitchen space, where that's not in the road, and we can have some kitchen action on this whole bank here, really from this door is gone, so we have a lot of room to keep the kitchen up this way, island. But if we move those stairs over to there, this affects these bedrooms some, and the proportioning of them is a little better, I think, with the stairs over there. That much said, you have to consider the pathway down these stairs and across this room to the kitchen and the refrigerator in particular, because these are going to be children in these rooms really all the time. So that has to be considered in looking at the first floor and at the second floor. I like this plan at the second floor, and I'm not finished. I continue to return to this in the recording of this film and making changes. And offhand, this automatically seems like it's going to make probably the most sense. We have to deal with the stairs to the basement, remember, which are here. But this set of stairs that goes to the second floor, this can slide this way as far as you want to tolerate a separation between this living space and this space down here. In any event, it gives us good wall space here before we even have to think about how we're getting to the basement. And the basement is, right now the path to the basement would remain down through here, but I like that there. But I am going to cut this short. I think that's where the stairs should go. And this was as far as I took it, just ignoring things outside, ignoring a lot of it. These could stay here as the only stairs to the basement, because I've already covered or will cover how I foresaw getting you from here into the kitchen. Suffice it to say, with this sort of a depth kitchen, you can still be entering straight here, but you probably wanted to go through a mudroom first. So that's been solved, and I think these stairs suit up best, particularly since we can move them as this way to the extent you want to deal with them intruding into this area. So I'm glad I at least arrived there before I sent this film over or wrapped this thing up. Upstairs, if we leave those back there, which that's only the bottom 3 stairs coming out, this is where it ends up here. Up here I want to say, notice these rooms you'll see are somewhat expanded, and that's because I'm electing to show a cantilevered second floor that cantilevers out to the west side here. This bedroom becomes very nice. These become a little more proportional, and there is yet remains expansion opportunities to the north if it was actually required, and I don't believe it is at this point. On the first floor, some permutation of this, without commenting on what's happening outside, because I would like to get, this is a nice little east deck, but I'm sure that we want to do some living back here. So there's going to be a transition coming through here, presumably here, and I would assume more decking here. Maybe this becomes just a small kind of grilling deck. In any case, think about that. Additionally, I'm not going to zoom out now or deal with it, but remember that we have this whole front. We can do what we like here in terms of a front porch, in terms of an entry, in terms of how it interfaces with this. Finally, these ceilings in this area can slope up this way and this way, but the ceilings can actually slope from a center line here going down this way if trusses are used, where we don't have to have a beam through here. And if that's not a whole balcony commons, you know, this just comes out here, and this would have to be arranged for structurally at the first floor. If we were just to have a little platform out here with a place you could look down in both directions. This was one more, moving the master bedroom to the second floor above the kitchen. You would give up any of that high ceiling in the kitchen. I mean, this could be built as a 9-foot kitchen at the first floor level, but you wouldn't be able to have any of the soaring ceilings over that dining room area if the master bedroom suite was there. And that master bedroom suite is smaller. There is the hatched area, is the master bedroom suite that we were finally showing in our 104E and F and those situations. So you would have to move that. There's the kitchen addition at 8 feet. So that kitchen addition presumably had to come out roughly 12 feet to accommodate the master bedroom suite at that level over here near these bedrooms. Okay, the final scrap of this film, and I know I'm almost positive I covered earlier in the film, of stepping down here and stepping down here and then stepping down there, or whether this is all to be on the same level with the kitchen and maybe a step here and then 2 steps down there. We need 3 steps to the garage. Possibly that's the most compact, where your door is right in here. You come up 1 step and your door is in here, and you come up 1 step to the landing, 2 steps, 3 steps. This was just to show you, in the event that stairs is oriented going in either of those locations that we showed, where it's heading up to the west. It's 15 risers. If we make this there would be no need to make it as that tall unless we were going to make it the whole second floor at 9 feet. This is showing 9 feet, so it'd be a little less long than this. But in any event, this is 6'8" right here. So if we shift it, so down here, it's about 4 feet or so. So as we shift that eastward, we get that even further out of the road. But almost any vehicle, well, any vehicle that can fit in the garage door is going to fit under the stairs with just the 3 projecting treads. And that's it. I'm going to say goodbye and good luck with this. Hopefully I included everything that I wanted to include. Oh, I know I did not. So here's the final part of that. Any of this sort of thing that you sent over to me is doable and is pleasing. We can't really eliminate that brick entirely, even from the top half of that, because of those way those walls are constructed. So if we want stone and or siding, we're going to have to go over the brick or take it down and reconstruct it. But any of these are more than doable. Any of these gables coming out this way, going out the back way, and once we get a few things settled with regard to the inside, if you're inclined and it looks like the whole thing's going to be doable, we can go forward from there. But thanks and good luck.